Good morning. Thanks for joining us today here at On the Record. I'm Alexa DiFrancesco.
And I'm Abby North. Here's the latest news. It's been nearly a week since alcohol became available in convenience stores around Ontario, and the province's Financial Accountability Office is questioning the high costs of putting these bottles on shelves. As we hear in this report from Claire Dufourd, for some people that's good news, while for others it's cause for concern.
This is the second time provincial law has been expanded to allow alcohol sales outside of licensed premises such as LCBOs and restaurants. But with expansion comes new responsibilities. Take, for example, university residences. Many, if not most, students living in residence are minors. Timothy Naimi is a researcher at the University of Victoria who specializes in substance abuse.
From a public health standpoint, it's not a good development. There's a very, very robust scientific literature showing that when you increase the availability of alcohol, you increase consumption, you increase harms.
And experts aren't the only ones worried about easier access to alcohol. Residence advisors have the job of overseeing students living on campus. Often, those students are underage when it comes to alcohol. Or even if they're not, ready access to alcohol can be a problem.
It's not just like 18-year-olds on my floor. There's also people that are older than of that age and of age to drink. So yeah, it will definitely affect like what I think is like the safety of my students.
Terry Yaldo owns a convenience store in Windsor and was one of the business owners who pushed for the expansion.
I think if abuse is going to happen with it, it's going to happen regardless. I would love to see the stats on, the levels of alcohol abuse in Quebec versus Ontario before this opened up, and see if there's actually a direct correlation, or if it's just fear mongering, or some of the people that are against it, that that's kind of just their defense with no data backing it.
While alcohol in corner stores may be new, consumers have become used to the sight of alcohol in grocery stores. It's been more than a year since that law changed, and so for those who want to grab a bottle of wine or a six-pack on their way home, it's now become just a little bit easier. For On the Record, I'm Claire Dufourd.
Health Canada is recalling vitamins and medication sold by Quebec pharmaceutical company Jamp Pharma. The medications are vitamin D, acetaminophen, and telmisartan. Health Canada says some of the tablets may contain too much of the active ingredient, while others may contain too little. Consumers are asked to check with their pharmacist if they have prescription for any of these medications.
The Ontario government wants to expand, once again, what pharmacists are allowed to do. Since early last year, what's called the scope of practice has been expanded a number of times. The government's latest proposal would allow pharmacists to assess minor ailments such as shingles, sore throat, and ringworm, and prescribe accordingly. They'd also be able to give out more vaccinations and order certain lab tests. The Ontario Pharmacists Association likes the idea. It says it would relieve pressure on family doctors and emergency rooms. But the group representing doctors isn't so keen. In a statement, the Ontario Medical Association says pharmacists are not doctors. It's week 3 of a student protest at the Brampton campus of Algoma University. Joshua Ben Joseph brings us the story.
The protest started last month when many students in the finance and accounting program found out that they'd received failing grades. Pretty much every student in the program is an international student, so they're already paying 3 times more than domestic students for basic tuition. On top of that, they've learned that Algoma wants to charge them what they consider an exorbitant amount to retake the exam. Leaders of the protest say that not only are enrollment practices unfair, but so are the rules around grading. They're calling for an outside investigation.
Recently, due to the student cap, very less number of students are being admitted to all the universities, and specifically our university as well. So I believe that the university is failing students in bunch and the entire class to get money from us, because they think that we are cash cows. They are failing each student, and then they are demanding a fees of $2,500 to $3,500 for one subject which we have failed in.
In a statement, the university said it has to respect formal procedures mandated by the governing Senate, and that it is supporting those students through the process as the launch appeals. Students say it's those very processes that are very frustrating. They say there are inconsistencies across the board.
Everything, we contacted the ombudsperson, we contacted the professor, the dean, but their only response was that you should go through the appeal process and you should just wait what are the results. And we were already informed and we knew that in summer the appeal committee is on a break, so we don't know that how much of a time they are going to take, and this just shows that they are just buying time and they are delaying the responses.
As the protests enter the 21st day, students say that their agitation will continue until they receive a favorable response from the university. For On the Record News, I'm Joshua Benzo.
Good news if you're flying Air Canada this week. A pilot strike has been averted. The airline reached a tentative agreement on Sunday with the union representing more than 5,000 pilots. They'll vote on the deal in the coming weeks. If it's ratified, pilots could see a 42% pay increase over 4 years. Toronto Animal Services wants to make it as easy as possible for pet owners to get their dog or cat microchipped. Every month or so, they drive their chip truck to a different location. This past weekend, the chip truck pulled up to the dog lovers market at a city park near Queen and Broadview. OTR reporter Sierra Edwards has more.
This is the chip truck. It provides microchipping and rabies vaccines to registered pets.
It's a really valuable service that we provide because we offer rabies vaccines and microchips for $10, which is a lot less than you would pay at a veterinarian.
The Toronto Humane Society also had a booth at the event. Chief Veterinary Officer Karen Ward told us more about microchipping.
So microchips are RFID devices, so radio frequency ID, and they're just little wee things about the size of a grain of rice. And then they're inside a plastic capsule, and they are designed to not sort of migrate through the body.
Not painful for the dog to have, and there's no risk to it, and there's only benefit.
Microchips can be scanned and used as identification for lost dogs or cats if collars or tags get lost or broken.
Any dog that gets away from their owner, they can go into any veterinary clinic and they can be scanned, or the Humane Society or Animal Services, anywhere that has a microchip scanner, will be able to identify your dog and be able to contact the owner to say that we have their dog.
Toronto Animal Services tries to be as accessible as possible, which fills up their clinics fast. As a result, resources like the chip truck are necessary. The chip truck is typically set up somewhere about once a month.
So cute. He's an old man.
If you're looking for the next chip truck, information on future locations is posted every few weeks on the Toronto Animal Services website. For OTR News, I'm Sierra Edwards.
Residents of Markham have a new way of getting around. The city has joined up with Scooty Mobility, a Brampton company. Starting Friday, electric scooters will be available for rent. It will cost $1.15 to unlock a scooter, and then 35 cents per minute. The program will run through October.
And now, we join this week's live host, Olivia Harbin. She's downstairs in the OTR newsroom to tell us about the stories that our reporters and producers are working on this week. Olivia?
Thanks, Abby. Starting with campus news, a well-known longtime TMU professor has delayed her retirement to continue supporting activism on campus. Judy Rebick, now 79 years old, has been a prominent social activist for half a century. She planned on retiring last year, but chose instead to stick around longer. She says she wants to help bring in a new generation of activists. More on that from Kansas Afar on the website later this week. And local news, a TIFF film has come under fire for promoting what Ukrainian officials are calling Russian propaganda. The festival has said the film in no way aids this cause, but still paused screenings this past week. Showings have now resumed after the festival announced the film would rejoin their lineup. We'll be hearing more from Matt Katzman and Alexa DiFrancesco with updates on that. And lastly, Toronto opened a new park last week with an eco-friendly attitude. The Leslie Spit Lookout is now accessible to the public after 3 years of construction. The abandoned property located in Toronto Portlands has become a city hotspot, featuring a variety of plants and trees that will contribute toward a more progressive ecological future in the city. Claire Dufourd will be looking into this more coming up. All of these stories will be published on our website Friday at ontherecordnews.ca. Back to you in the studio, Abby and Alexa.
Thanks, Olivia. In the heart of Jane and Finch, a new community project is helping young people in the neighborhood imagine their future through art and technology. Nicole Lim has the story.
Jane and Finch Mall is seeing brand new color with a series of murals being unveiled on Saturday. Young Black artists from across the area took to the mall walls to show their community their visions for the future.
The whole idea is, like, as you walk through each piece, it's like past, present, future, kind of. So this is like a representation of the past. Like, we're looking into the past, but still thinking about the future. I think that's so important.
The exhibition features a range of works created by local youth, telling their stories through spray painting, illustrations, and photography. But what sets these works apart is their use of augmented reality.
This kind of came out of the rise of the need to tell positive stories, especially during a time where Jane and Finch is going through a lot of violence. Because unfortunately, murals, they can get bombed, meaning that they can get tagged. Eventually, they fade out. But when it's on the blockchain, when it's on the internet, it lives forever.
This is one of the many arts programs hosted by Astro Sankofa Arts Initiative. They're dedicated to bringing forward more opportunities for Black creatives in different areas of Toronto to celebrate the local talent. And to the kids, that is what made it all the more memorable.
I think I liked drawing, and then Urban Grey Arts came along and I learned new drawing techniques and stuff. So I have a passion for drawing now.
The display is now part of the City of Toronto's Cultural Hotspot Signature Project for Jane and Finch. Nicole Lim, On the Record News.
The Toronto International Film Festival has come and gone for another year. And with the end of the hoopla, residents and commuters in the King West neighborhood can finally breathe easy. With more on that story, here's Krista Shepard.
It's the same every September. The 10 days of the festival are the busiest of the year along King Street West. In the first 4 of those days, even more activity, because that's when the TIFF Street Festival is happening. During that time, King West between University and Spadina is closed entirely to vehicles, including the 504 streetcar. And for people living on King West or the surrounding streets, or for those who commute in and out of the area, the closure brings something close to chaos. Steve Nicholson is a security supervisor at a condo building right beside the Royal Alex.
Well, we've had people along the plaza here before, particularly last year. We didn't come to an agreement this year, so they're not allowed to be on the property. Still, people will gather here and down, sort of block the entrance for the residents. So that's a bit problematic.
The festival is closed now, but here's what it was like last week. King Street West has been closed between University and Spadina Avenue, blocking traffic from September 5th until September 9th. 80,000 people every day use the 504 streetcar along King West.
If anything, make the streetcars more available so that it's easier to get to the festival. I feel like cutting off more of it is limiting the access to the festival in itself, so it's counterintuitive.
In past years, the TTC tried and failed to convince the city not to close King West during TIFF, but ultimately it's the city's decision.
So we'll do temporary diversions or temporary service suspensions. They're very short in nature, but it beats the alternative, which was having a 10-day full closure in that area.
What a difference a few days make. Yesterday, King West was pretty much back to normal. Here we are on King Street West the Monday morning after TIFF. As you can see, we're more or less back to normal. For On the Record News, I'm Krista Shepard.
And now for This Week in Entertainment, here's Laviza Syed.
Hi, I'm Laviza Syed, and let's take a look at what's been happening in entertainment this week. Toronto's International Film Festival is suspending any upcoming screenings of the film Russians at War. The decision was made after TIFF had previously announced they would not be pulling the film. Protesters outside TIFF on Tuesday claimed the film was Russian propaganda and that it whitewashed war crimes. This was not the only movie that wanted to be removed at TIFF this year. A film titled The Bibi Files, a documentary on Netanyahu, is also screening at TIFF. Jerusalem District Court rejected Netanyahu's request to stop the screening at TIFF. Former Canadian mogul Peter Nygaard has been sentenced to 11 years in prison for 4 counts of sexual assault. Nygaard, aged 83, was accused of attacking 5 women at his downtown Toronto office. With credit for time served, he will serve just under 7 years behind bars. Toronto Superior Court Justice Robert Goldstein called Nygaard a sexual predator and a Canadian success story gone very wrong. For the first time in nearly 8,000 episodes, Wheel of Fortune aired without longtime host Pat Sajak. After Sajak's 41-year tenure, Ryan Seacrest has stepped into the role. In his opening remarks, Seacrest paid tribute to Sajak's legacy, acknowledging the big shoes to fill, while sharing his enthusiasm for carrying forward the iconic game show. Seacrest had a strong start as he gained a 4.62 household rating, a 57% increase from last year's premiere, according to Deadline. That's it for today's entertainment update. I'm Laviza Syed, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Laviza.
And that's it for On the Record this September 17th. I'm Alexa DiFrancesco.
And I'm Abby North. Join us for On the Record next week as we bring you the latest stories from the OTR newsroom.
And for the latest news 24/7, please visit our website at ontherecordnews.ca. Thanks, and have a great day.